Welcome back to Code With Me for Chapter 5. In this video, we'll be talking more about the anchor tag and covering activities 5.2, 5.3, and 5.4. The first thing is, let's go ahead and open up the guitars file to make sure we have the appropriate code to work with. So in brackets, go ahead and open up guitars if you don't have it open already. And in the browser, because we've already added the links, click on the guitars link and that'll take you straight to this page. Alright, so first thing is we want to make sure that we go to line 15 and locate the H2 element for Telecaster. Line 15, Telecaster. Good. Okay, we're going to add an ID to each of these H2 tags to give them an identifiable attribute. So H2 inside the tag, ID equals, what does the ID equal? Well, the activity says tele, so T-E-L-E. Now keep in mind that the IDs don't have to have certain letter restrictions. You can have these IDs be as big as you want, but for this activity it tells us exactly TELE, so we're going to go with that. For the next one, line 21, Stratocaster, ID equals STRAT. Next one, the Flying V, ID equals Fly V. Now, when you're working with IDs, make sure you don't give them anything really weird, such as spaces. Spaces don't work too well in IDs, and we'll get to that in just a minute, especially when it comes to CSS. So if you want to add IDs, make sure they're all lowercase and they're simplified. Okay, so once we save, file and save, we refresh. Visually, there's no difference, only because we've added identifiable factors to these H2s. Again, there's no visual difference, but there will be a usable difference once we start adding it. So let's go back to the code. Let's go to line 13. Here we go, line 13, this paragraph tag. Towards the end of line 13, wrap the tel in an anchor tag. So that is right here, anchor tag. And do we need an href? Yes, we do, because we are telling this to go to a specific link. And that link is an internal link. So how do we identify internal links? Again, how do we identify areas on a page we want to jump to? We use the hashtag or the pound sign. And we're going to use the exact same ID as we did before, TELE. We save, we go back to the browser, and let's just test to make sure we're doing the correct thing instead of having to repeat ourselves and make the same error. So down here I have to go with the Telestrat and Flying V. You notice that tele is now underscored in blue. So if we click on it, you notice that the page automatically jumps to the Telecaster guitar. Okay, so we're on the right track. Let's continue working with the rest of the code and having the other items linked as well. So in line 13 we have strat, a href equals pound sign strat. Close the tag, and Flying V, a href, pound sign, fly V, and close the anchor tag. Good, save, go back to line 13, refresh, and we notice that the other two are underlined as well. We'll click on one, jumps down to that one, okay, click on the other one, jumps down to Flying V. Good, we're on the right track. Now what happens if, say, we put a space in one of the IDs, or we misspell one of the IDs? Well, let's take a look and see what happens. Save, refresh, and I click on this. It doesn't take me anywhere because the ID does not exist. I click on Flying V. It doesn't take me anywhere because, again, the ID does not exist, because the ID of fly space V does not exist. We take that out and we spell that correctly, S-T-R-A-T. Yes, good. Okay, save, refresh, and we're back to square one. Good. Now, because the clicking on these links and going back up and clicking on these links again and going back up is a bit tedious, let's add the back to top links. So let's go back to the code, line 19, after this paragraph right here. We add a new line, and we say a href hashtag. Well, what does that mean? Well, if there's no ID, but a hashtag is provided, that means that this link will automatically go back to the top of the page. So we're going to state the link text with back to top. A. All right, we save, we refresh, just to make sure we're doing things correctly. Back to top. Hey, look, we're back at the top of the page. So we click Telly, we click back to top, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and just copy this, or you can retype it as well. Either way is fine with you. Go down here, new line, go down here, new line. Okay, just make sure we're doing things correctly. Let's save, let's go back here, let's refresh, always test. Telly, back to top. Strat, back to top. Flying V, back to top. We are good. All right, so that is activity 5.2. Activity 5.3, we will do internal locations to another page. So back on the index page code, good. Let's also go to the index page in the browser. Again, that is the home page. We're going to go to line 13 and locate the guitar Fender Telecaster and the trademark code. Line 13 right here, thank you 13. Fender Telecaster. Hey, there it is, right here. And we're going to wrap that in an anchor tag. A href. This is going to go to guitars.html and the trademark. Let's include everything inside of the anchor tag. Well, this is just a standard link, which means that if we click on it, it'll take us to the guitars page. We want this link to take us to the guitars page and jump to an ID that we've already defined. So how do we add that? Well, in the hyperlink reference, after the page, or the file name, we add the hashtag and telly, like we just had on the other page. What this does, if we go back and save, go to the browser, refresh, we'll notice that 1, the link down here works, and 2, if we click on it, it takes us to the guitars page right here, and it jumps to the telly section, basically the Telecaster. Okay, well, that's nice and easy. Let's go ahead and finish with the rest of the page. If you click back to top, it takes you to the top of the guitars page. You have to click home to get back to index, or you can use the back button, either way. All right, let's finish things up with the Fender Stratocaster. Stratocaster, there it is. Including Fender Stratocaster, href, guitars.html, hashtag strat. There we go. And the last one is the Flying V, Gibson Flying V. href, guitars.html, and just for demonstration purposes, I am going to misspell this ID. You'll see why in a second. Okay, there we go. We save. We refresh. Okay, we have more links. If we click on the Fender Stratocaster, just like the Fender Telecaster, it goes to the guitars page and jumps down to the Stratocaster. Good, that's what we want. Well, this one, as we know, has an incorrect ID. Well, what does that mean? If we click on it, it takes us to the guitars page, but there's nothing on this page that has the ID of fly. If you recall from the code, the ID down here is fly V. So if we go back to the code, we correct that ID, we save, we go back to the index page, we refresh, we click on Flying V, and now it appropriately works. So this way, when you're making sure you're jumping to different pages, you want to make sure your IDs match up as well. Otherwise, it won't work like you expect. Okay, on to activity 5.4. In brackets, we're viewing the index page, so we're already doing that. Good for us. Line 13, we're going to find Fender Telecaster, and we're going to add the title attribute. Where's the Telecaster? There it is, inside the anchor tag. Okay, title attribute, and the value for that is Fender Telecaster Blues, country, and rock. And yes, there is a space between title or the quotations and the capital F. Let's just go with it for now. All right, save, little dot, go away. Back to the browser, refresh, and you'll notice visually there's no difference. But if you take your mouse and you hover over Telecaster, since we just added a title to it, you'll notice a tooltip shows up and tells us exactly what we want to see. Well, that's nice, but what if we actually want to have the title attribute do 2 lines? Well, we go back to the title attribute, we go in front of, let's just say the word blues, and we press enter. Okay, well, that should take care of it, right? Well, let's take a look. We save, we go back to the browser, we refresh. And okay, well, that did something. It gave us the tooltip, but you notice that there's some extra space before the word blues. That's because brackets has automatically spaced over this item for us, which is a great thing and helpful for developers, but it's not exactly the best thing when it comes to tooltips, or in this case, titles. So what we want to do is we actually want to delete that space. Yes, I know it looks a little weird. We'll just go with it. File, save, refresh, and now we hover over it. And now Fender Telecaster, Blues, Country, and Rock has the left-hand alignment. However, you notice that the space before Fender is still there. That's perfectly okay for now. We're actually going to fix that, and we notice that we save, we refresh. Now both of them have the left-hand alignment. Let's go ahead and work on the others as well. So let's get to the Stratocaster. Stratocaster right here. Title. Fender Stratocaster, colon, enter, backspace, backspace, Blues, Country, Rock, and Fusion. Good. Let's check, save, browser, refresh, Stratocaster, hover, and there we go. Good, we have the tooltip as well. And the last thing is line 15. We have the Flying V. Title. Gibson Flying V. Colon. Enter. Backspace, backspace. Everything. No, I'm sorry. That's going to be a single line. Okay, that's perfectly fine. All right, we save, we go back to the browser, we refresh, we hover, and tooltip. Perfect. Okay, so that is everything for this Code With Me video. In the next Code With Me video, we're talking about image links protocols, activities 5.5 and 5.6. If you have any questions regarding Chapter 5 or anything discussed before, please let me know and I'll get back to you the best way I know how.